Hi, it's Jason from Fraser Valley Rose Farm, and today I'm going to use this large rose to explain and demonstrate why I would take the aggressive step of remedial pruning in the middle of the season, cutting this whole rose right down, and it's based on condition to improve the condition problems on a rose. So have a look at the foliage on this rose here. I'm going to give you some close-ups now, and you're going to see that it's got yellowish leaves. It's having problems with nutrient uptake. Those leaves are affected by leaf spot. And yet, when I look at new growth shooting from the base of the rose, it's greenish. It looks like it wants to grow healthy, but it's being held back by all of this extra material on the top of the rose. And this may happen from time to time. The causes, who knows? It could have been a harsh winter that killed back some of the roots, but it looks like right now we have an imbalance where the roots can't provide enough nutrients or enough good condition for the top growth of the rose. And my blanket solution for that generally is to do some remedial pruning and see if the fresh new growth actually comes back nice. So that's what I'm going to do on this one here, and I'm going to show you some results of some ones that I've done like this around the yard throughout the season a little bit earlier on and show you it actually works. I'm just choosing a spot low down on the rose, taking all the old wood down, not going to leave a whole bunch on, except for if it has some fresh new shoots in the center. I may leave those to grow. Here's what remains after pruning. You can see I did take it down to that 2 to 3 foot size, and the structure I've tried to get to is an open vase shaped structure, taking off all of those grungy old yellow leaves. You can see I've taken off some very thick stems here, and they weren't in great condition, and that's one of the things that this helps to address, is that even though the roots are responsible for bringing up the nutrients, it is the condition of the stems that allows you to move those nutrients and energy up and down the plant efficiently. And when it's a very old shrub like this with very thick canes, it actually can inhibit the movement of that growth. So for that reason, when I see fresh new green shoots coming from below the ground right down at the root level, those basal breaks are what's going to refresh this shrub. And I have proof, because there are some shrubs I've done already. Let's have a look at those. This rose here is called Robusta, and you can see beautiful glossy green foliage on there, fresh new growth coming, lots of flowers. It's on flush right now, but earlier this season I was suffering with similar condition problems on this, and as I get down to the base of the plant, you're going to see that that is where I cut it, almost down to the base level. There's another one behind there where I cut it maybe up to about 8 or 10 inches above the ground level. And all of this growth that you see on the top here is fresh new growth, spurred on by then having enough roots, plenty of roots, to support all this new growth, instead of struggling to support all that old top growth that's in poor condition. Here's an even more recent example. This is a shrub rose called Mygold, and you can see that I've taken it down to a similar height as I did the very first shrub, that one along the fence line. It is actually named Guillain de Félagon, and in the meantime, it has bounced back from similar looking foliage, yellowish, with lots of leaf spot and just kind of gross and unhealthy looking, and now it has all this fresh new growth. And at the base, I even notice that it has a fresh new basal break coming right from the ground. So that's the future of this rose, and all because I took the time to do the remedial pruning instead of leaving it looking ugly in the landscape. This is going to look wonderful. And in case you're wondering about the really long-term effects of a deep pruning like that, this is one that I did in a video probably coming up on 4 or 5 years ago now. I'll link that one in the description, where I took Rosa rubrifolia and took it down to low canes, and it has in the meantime put on year after year of beautiful foliage. That's what this rose is known for. And you know what? It's probably due for another low prune pretty quick here. So I could do this early in the spring, but there's no harm really, if you see the conditions starting to decline, of tackling these things right in the middle of summer. By the way, this is also the appropriate time to start considering your pruning, or after the bloom period is the time to consider your pruning on the old garden once blooming roses as well. So this is a good time of year to take on remedial pruning and the old garden roses, once blooming roses, so that you can get them in good condition for next year. Hope that answered some of your questions about remedial pruning, and if you have any other questions, please drop them in the comments below the video. I'll see what I can do to help.